Right now is the only chance the Democrats have to fight for the will of the people. Now, Michael Collins, he's a policy manager at the Drug Policy Alliance Office of National Affairs, said, quote, Democratic leadership made it clear they would stand with voters on this crucial racial justice issue and push back against Republican opposition to the D.C. law. Democrats have always made claims of supporting D.C. home rule. Now is their chance to stand with 70% of the voters in the district who voted for marijuana reform, end quote. Democrats instead appear to be unable to stand at all, lacking the spine necessary to do so. Representatives Harris and Roger appear to be offering Democrats an out by leaving alone the district's recently passed decriminalization law. Democrats can then claim they negotiated in good faith with Republicans and saved the law that replaced criminal penalties for possession of marijuana with a $25 civil fine. So, let me see if I got this straight. Democrats agree not to give up any of their currently won ground in exchange for legalization that won by 7 out of 10 voters. Well, gosh, why don't they also just claim that they protected the district medical marijuana from extinction too? This is such a BS cover your ass tactic from the Democrats when you know darn well that Representative Harris couldn't go after the decriminalization law. It's a moot threat. Representative Harris realized that he couldn't go after DC decrim. He couldn't defund decrim, because how do you take money away from not arresting people? Representative Harris realized that if he took money away from implementing the DC decrim proposal, all it took away was the ability to write and process those $25 tickets, essentially leaving Washington, D.C. with no law against marijuana possession and nothing to enforce. So there was no threat ever that the Republicans were going to take the decrim law away. Democrats can't say they protected a decrim law that was never threatened. It's just, it's not surprising, though, to see these kind of undemocratic operations in our nation's capital if you've ever visited there. I remember my times in Washington, D.C. I've visited twice now, and whenever you see the cars going by, you can look at their license plates. And emblazoned on each one is the phrase, taxation without representation. You remember that phrase from our American history. It's part of our cultural identity. It's why we rebelled against England, is our colonies were being taxed without any representation. And right now, Washington, D.C. is essentially a colony of the federal government. Because right now in Washington, D.C., a city that has a population about the same as Portland, Oregon, my hometown, is ruled by a Congress where they have no vote in Congress. At least here in Portland, Oregon, I can vote for Representative Earl Blumenauer, and he's my voice in Congress. I can vote for Senator Wyden and Senator Merkley. They're my voices in the Senate. But Washington, D.C. only gets one delegate and no senators. One delegate, Eleanor Holmes Norton, who is a wonderful person, has been a staunch supporter of Washington, D.C. marijuana reforms, but she's a delegate. She does not get a vote in Congress. So over 650,000 residents of Washington, D.C. pay their federal taxes every year, and they never get any say in their own government. Now, Dr. Malik Burnett is a policy manager at Drug Policy Alliance. He's also the vice chair of the DC Cannabis Campaign, the group that was responsible for marijuana legalization, Initiative 71. Dr. Burnett said, quote, "In light of recent events in Ferguson, Missouri and New York, it is particularly disturbing that Congress would choose to overturn the will of the voters in a majority black city. D.C. voters chose to reform their marijuana laws, which have a direct impact on how communities of color interact with police. Congress is poised to undermine that," end quote. Now, Democrats can try to defend themselves with this delusion that decriminalization alone is enough protection for the young black men more frequently harassed by police. But the supporters of Initiative 71 were very clear about the racial implications of marijuana legalization. Before decriminalization, African Americans were 8 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than whites, despite similar use rates. After decriminalization, African Americans were receiving 77% of the tickets written for possession. Only legalization ends the racially biased enforcement of marijuana possession. Decriminalization still means that cops can stop and harass and frisk people over marijuana or the smell of marijuana or the claim of the smell of marijuana. Only legalization puts an end to the underground marijuana market that can be so devastating to minority communities. 70% of Washington, D.C. voters understood that. Why can't congressional Democrats? Here's the situation for Democrats. They can claim to be not standing up for legal marijuana so much as standing up for home rule and democracy. And that might even sway some Tea Party Republicans and libertarian types over to their side. And they're only in a position to do this for another month. Republicans take over in January in the Senate and continue and grow their majority in the House. And they're going to pass some budget to restart the government. So why not shut it down for a few weeks and get credit for being on the right side of history and re-energize a deflated youth base that didn't turn out for Democrats in 2014 in advance of the coming election in 2016. Get young people excited again about a Democratic Party that might actually stand up for the will of the people. And that's going to be a huge election issue in 2016. Democrats, why not take a stand now and make yourself the party of the future? And doing so, threatening a government shutdown, would also call the bluff of Republicans who always threaten a government shutdown to get their way on their issues. How could they complain too loudly about Democrats doing the same in support of a 70% vote? But no. They probably won't step up to the plate. Democrats don't want to face the wrath of a 2016 attack ad warning that Democrat so-and-so voted to shut down the government before Christmas to support pot smoking in the heart of our nation's capital. Jeez. So the executive branch is going to allow the legalization in Washington, Oregon, Alaska, and Colorado to continue, but the legislative branch is shutting down the legalization in its own home district. So what is the message our government is sending to the citizens when it comes to marijuana legalization? 4 states that voted for legalization by 52% to 56%, they're okay. But the one district that voted for legalization by 70%, they're not okay. These 4 states with legalization contain black populations that range from 2% here in Oregon to 4.4% in Colorado. They can handle legal pot. But the one district with 49.5% black population, they can't handle it? Or is it just that pot-hating politicians don't want to have to work in a city that will be proving their fears of legalization back home to be completely unfounded? Regardless the excuse, there's no excuse for congressional Democrats to not be standing up on this issue and to be seen as a party that, regardless of the issue, will stand up for the will of the people. And Republicans, Andy Harris, Hal Roger, the party that always claims to be about states' rights and local government, that always claims to be so against federal interference in private business and the people's will, you guys want to be the ones that are seen to be the Governor Wallace of this century, standing in the schoolhouse doors, screaming segregation now, segregation forever when it comes to marijuana? Do you really want to be hung with that epitaph in your political career? Anybody in Washington, D.C. who's on the wrong side of this legalization debate, it will be remembered in 2016. You congressional Democrats who aren't standing up for this will be remembered. You're already losing many of your voters, your natural base of voters among young people, for your intransigence on the marijuana issue. And you're going to see it usurped by younger, more libertarian-minded Republicans as time goes on. Mark my words. That's all the time we got for Hour 1, but stay tuned for Hour 2. Got some cool stories coming up, including how Washington's medical marijuana law might get fixed, and hecklers at Kevin Sabet's latest event at the Heritage Foundation. I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it.